So today, we're stunning, striking, and well maybe winning. We're running a fighter builds featuring the Spiked Staff for the Empower buff, Brass Knuckles for stuns, and a whole bunch of daggers to make use of both of these. But hey, will it carry us around 18? Let's find out. Okay, let's go and jump some ranked games with a random character and see what I'm going to get today. So it looks like we're playing the big old Berserker. We do start off with a utility pouch and a broom here. Well, might as well go double brooms for now. Let's grab the shield, let's grab the banana. I'm going to grab healing herbs. No, I'm actually going to roll here. I was looking for either a frying pan or a whetstone, which we didn't get either. We can roll looking for, or we could settle for this wooden sword and try to craft up a shell totem. You know what? I'm actually still going to roll. As crazy as that sounds, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to grab this whetstone. And I'm going to craft up a shepherd's crook. I'm going to reserve this bit of storage. And I'm going to move on. Shepherd's crook. And we're potentially going to try to go for a cold stacking build. Which means I do want to find more brooms. The more brooms, the better. We should be able to inflict a decent bit of blind. With 2 brooms, we should be able to deal quite a bit of damage. And you know what? It's not looking too bad. Nice even. And speaking of broom, how about we take another one? Let's grab more storage. We could go for double shepherd's crook. I think that might be too insane to actually try to. Well, I think I'm going to save our 2 gold, and I'm just going to move on with this. Now, our fanny pack is just going to be targeting our banana, but it's going to have to do. Now, we're shepherd's crook. We should be able to deal quite a bit of damage, and we should be able to resist some blind that opponents do stack up early on. But this hammer's going to be dealing quite a bit of damage. It's going to have some lifesteal as well, but we should be able to inflict a lot of blind. And you know what? It's not looking too bad. Now, spear on sale, I'm going to grab as well. Is there anything else we want to grab here? You know what? I think I'm just going to roll. I do want to grab the storage. I do want to grab the garlic as well. I'm going to save our 2 gold once again, and I'm going to move on with this. So the spear is going to be a lot more damage, especially with triple weapons, and stamina cost is going to be a little bit higher with triple weapons. But is it going to be good enough here? Because your opponent is also dealing quite a bit of damage as well, but hey, not too bad. Now we do have a choice to make. Should we go for guard power? Should we go for blood manipulation? Or should we go for piggy pinata? All these options are not going to be great for cold stacking. But guard power is on sale. It's going to be kind of nice. I'm going to take it over the other options. I'm going to grab this bit of storage. Maybe we want to reconsider and try to go for a big old busted blade potentially. We could also take these daggers. You know what? Let's take the dagger. Let's roll. And we could pivot into a hammer dagger type build. I'm going to grab ourselves a set of blueberries 2 though. I'm going to roll again. And I'm going to grab this bit of storage as well. And I do want this healing herb so we can get summon power as well. But this should be a good bit of damage between 4 weapons, except, yeah, 2 shell. I was going to say 2 shells. 2 shields. Yeah, we're going to have 0 stamina after first 2 barrages. I was going to say first barrage, but it's actually 2 barrages. But can we keep up? Because they do have a slime time with Goobling. They're going to be inflicting a ton of debuffs, and that shell totem is going to put in a lot of work. And unfortunately, those shields eat up all their stamina. He's actually going to take us down. Yep. Super unfortunate it is what it is. And we could take an axe here, which I'm not going to. You know what? Let's grab a second banana and sell the garlic. Let's roll once. And I'm thinking we're probably going to pivot into a hunger blade here, which I'm going to wait around to grab. I'm going to keep our spear. I'm probably going to get rid of one of the brooms. Maybe we could go for snow stick frostbite. But I'm thinking we're probably going to go for a Minotaur Spiked Staff with a bunch of little daggers instead. I think that's probably going to be our best play. But not too bad taking on this double axe type opponents. Sell one of the brooms. Let's grab our hunger blade. Let's grab our stamina sack. Let's roll for now. We could have grabbed ourselves a Sir Sand here as well. But I'm just going to reserve the stamina sack. I'm going to take the stone. I'm not even going to take the bag of stones here. But we're going to move on. Also, our spear should be able to shred a tiny bit of armor. Now, we could have actually prioritized it a little bit better, actually. But with our vampirism, we should have a ton of heals spread out over a bunch of weapons. And lucky for us, our opponent's not rocking any garlics. But they are going to have false life. But yeah, it's looking pretty good for us. Now, they actually would have dealt a lot better if they did take that emerald outer weapon and place it in their backpack. For a little bit more Regen. Now we could go for that big old poison spear, which I really don't want. Healing herbs, another dagger, amazing. Let's roll again. Spike collar, set of blueberries. Everything I actually want except for a mana orb. Now, unfortunately, where we had our spear was awesome, but in order to get max value on our shepherd's crook, it's going to have to be this way. Yeah, I'm going to move on. Spike collar is not going to be that great right now. It does give us a little bit longer battle rage for a little bit more lifesteal, so it shouldn't be too bad. And it's also going to be an item for guard power, which should be even better. Wait, can we keep up with this crit with staff? Axe. Uniquely unique. And you know what? Awesome. We do get our life back, and then we do have a choice to make. And it's going to be an easy choice. If we're going for a spiked staff, I'm going for a full-on fighter with the daggers. For sure. Let's grab you, let's grab this too, and let's grab our penny back, and let's roll once. Okay, I'm going to sell a stone. I lied, I'm going to roll again. Which we got a mana orb, and we're going to get our spike staff, which is going to be amazing. I would love to grab it this round, but unfortunately, we just can't really afford to do that. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to place our brass knuckles in here. It's not going to give crits to our daggers, but it's going to give crits to these weapons here. And yeah, we're going to move on. Spike staff is going to be insane with some daggers, that's for sure. However, we are going to be getting a villain sword with a poison gubbert and a curse dagger. But we do resist a lot of debuffs, and amazing. Shepherd's crook coming in super awesomely, actually. That's another dagger, which I do want to grab too. Let's go ahead and craft our magic staff. Now, I actually want to craft up vampiric daggers. Unless we get ourselves a mana thirst. Because we're going to be run through mana like it doesn't exist. Let's grab our dagger. Let's grab this too. And yep, let's keep moving on. It's going to take 2 rounds to get our spike staff online. And we are going to begin a hammer dagger type build with the brass knuckles, except they do have a poison dagger, which is going to be trying to inflict some debuffs. However, they do have the Dragon's Glamour to resist a lot of damage, but it didn't matter. We got an insane amount of it. Now, speaking about insane amount of it, we can grab ourselves a full body protection here. Look for an armor, look for a helmet, look for shoes. Full on defenses for our builds. You know what? I'm actually going to take it. And we could go for Serpent Staff, which I don't actually want. We could grab ourselves a Snow Cake, which I'm not going to take either. We could go for Thorn Bloom for some max life stacking, which I'm not going to take. It could be kind of insane, but I'm still not going to take it. I'm going to grab the Stamina Sack. I'm going to keep rolling. And again, I don't want any of this stuff. None of this stuff. I'm going to save our 2 gold though. And unfortunately, you know what? If we want this, I'd actually like to find some leather armors, some caps. So maybe not actually. Let's get our spike staff online. I do want to find another mana orb as well to craft up a mana thirst. But this skill right now is pretty much not doing anything for us. Maybe it was a bad take, to be honest. It's a bit of a risk, a bit of a gamble, but it's going to give us a huge amount of defenses. Wait, it's actually looking super close, but our opponent did manage to outpace us, unfortunately, with that blow turn. But, speaking of awesomeness, that's going to be crazy. Let's roll again. More heal grabs and gladly take 2. I'm going to grab this bit of storage and let's roll one more time. And we could sack the spear here and take another Hunger Blade. I mean, I kind of want to. That's exactly what I'm going to do. We're not making use of our skill right now, but it's going to have to do. Brass Knuckles, though, on the other hand, is going to start stacking up our power, but we do need another source of mana generation. And our opponent is going to be doing a lot of damage with that Burning Blade, unfortunately. But hey, let's sell the spear. Let's grab the Hunger Blade, and now we can actually have a dagger in as well. Now, you are an armor. Should we take you? As crazy as it sounds, I'm actually going to roll. Spike collar on sale, I'm going to have to grab as well. Let's roll again. Come on, man. Need a source of mana generation. This does also count as a helmet. I'm not going to take it. Another set of blueberries I'm going to have to grab, unfortunately. And again, we're going to have to move on. Yeah, we spent a lot of gold rolling, which is not great. Because we're not getting items we could actually use, trying to make this skill work. So maybe we won't actually want to get rid of this skill. Wait, we're doing some big damage. And our build is starting to come online. We've got tons of vampirism and amazing. The skill here was honestly a bad take because I actually just want to grab ourselves this Prismatic Orb. Yeah, unfortunately it was just a bad take, because with this Prismatic Orb we get a bunch of Vampirism, we get a bunch of mana, and Bloody Dagger does recover a lot more as well. Yeah, it's going to have to do. And all we want to find is more Prismatic Orbs, all we want to find is more Bloody Amulets. But our opponent is rocking a Katana with an Amulet Steel. They're going to be trying to remove our buffs and our scaling damage. But as long as we can get enough Empower here to let our daggers do a ton of damage, it's not going to matter too much. And awesome. And we could take our points around because we did take a skill that doesn't really provide too much for us. We do have a 40 DPS with a 40 healing per second, 4 block per second. I'm going to actually try to continue on for now. See what else we can do. I'm going to grab this, I'm going to roll. We've got a pair of boots. We could go for wing boots. I'm not going to though. Armor on sale and a cap. We literally got everything we actually need. I will actually take this, even though it's going to be a little bit worse for us overall. But I still think I'm going to take it. Now as for boots, we could craft up dragon scale boots. Lose a little bit of damage on our dagger here. But in order to craft up boots for 1 round, yeah, I think I'm going to. But let's keep moving for now. Let's grab our armor. I'd love to craft up a moon armor as well. Moon armor would be fantastic. A ton of defenses first, because the fighter subclass really needs a ton of defenses. Which is why I did take that skill. And unfortunately, we end up losing to another hammer dagger type build. We've got our boots. Let's grab our armor. I'm going to sell our spike collar here. So we grab this glowing crown also. But we do got a full body protection online right now. And that's going to be amazing. Let's roll one more time. And that's even more amazing also. And we can also craft up a holy spear here as well. It's not going to be too much weapons. It's going to be kind of insane, but I don't think I'm going to grab it. I think I'm just going to grab a bloody amulet and move on. But we do start off with 6 mana. I don't want to start off with 10. I don't want to get her invulnerability actually. But actually, the spear here would go nuts because it cleanses all that cold. But we do resist quite a bit of it, which is going to be nice as well. We should be able to deal a ton of damage. We should have a lot of survivability. Because with full body protection, we take a lot less damage. And you know what? Awesome. Actually, genuinely awesome. Let's grab a bloody amulet. I'm going to grab this bit of storage. I'm going to roll once. And we could take an Excalibur as well. I'm going to roll again though. Now we can't take any more boots, armors, so we've got to be super careful of that. We can, however, take an extra Hunger Blade. We can also take ourselves a Blood Goobert if we want to. But I think this setup should still be good enough for now. Let's get as much damage as possible and try and resist a bunch of debuff. Our opponent is going to be stacking up a lot of Empower, a lot of max life, and a lot of spikes while trying to steal our buffs with those squirrels. That's massive damage. But is it going to be enough? Hell yeah, it is. Awesome. Now there's Snow Kick again. It really wants to take Snow Kick, which I'm not going to. I'm going to roll because all I want to do is find more daggers. Mana Orb. We can go for that Mana Thirst. We can also go for Moon Shields. What should we go for here? I kind of actually want to go for Mana Thirst here. Or am I mad for doing that? Mana Thirst so we can stack up mana for a Glowing Crown to get invulnerability. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And we could also go for Mana Dagger, which I actually don't want to. I don't think that's going to be that great for us. But yeah, I'm going to move on once again. This is our final round to craft, so I'm going to go for that Mana Thirst instead of a Moon Shield. Even though 2 Hunger Blades here do generate up a lot of Vampirism for it. But getting invulnerability adds a layered defense to us as well. Even though we still got it online, but we do need more mana generation for Spiked Staff to keep generating up in power. Now our opponent does have a ton of heals, especially with 2 Paradise Burbs. And holy moly was it starting to look super close. But not too bad once again. Now Vampiric Armor would go nuts here as well. But we're not going to take it. Let's take more blueberries. Let's take another set of healing herbs. Let's roll again. And I wouldn't mind grabbing another Glowing Crown. The problem is, if we do take another one, it is a helmet. And we lose our value. Now, do we actually want to grab Whoppertinger here? On sale for 6. Let's grab it. Which means I'm probably going to sell this banana. I'm going to take another Spike Collar. Let's roll again. And that's literally everything I dreamed of. But unfortunately, we just don't have the capacity to buy it. unfortunately. I'd love one more round here to get another Vampiric Dagger and a freaking Moon Armor online as well. But yeah, this is going to be your final builds. Who knew that this gamble full body protection would pay off in the end, in one single round, getting this absurdness. Guard power though, with Vampirism stack is not too bad, and Brass Knuckles, but Shepherd's Crook with a bunch of daggers with the Spiked Staff also pretty good. And we could have actually changed our separate rounds to have our Spiked Staff out a little bit, and have our daggers in too, but I still think this is going to be pretty good for us. Get the extra damage on our weapons that do attack a little bit faster, while still prioritizing 2 of our daggers as well. Yeah, I think it's still going to be awesome. And we could also do something like this instead. Get a little bit more Vampirism, lose a little bit of value on our guard power, still get that damage on the daggers here, and get a ton more Vampirism overall. I think that's our best play. And this is it. We can sell this to grab ourselves a mana orb if we do want to, but we did sell our banana, and I do want our stamina as high as possible. Even though with these 3 weapons, it's not going to matter too much. So that's going to be super slow. This is going to be super slow. It's also going to be super slow. So should we actually sell it? You know what? I think we're going to be okay with a Minotaur Sin. So we're going to go ahead and see if this is going to be good enough. Can we win out? Or are we going to fall short? Another Torn Bloom, Spike Stacking, Stone Golem, Stone type build. I'm looking for us to do start off a 6 regen. 1 more regen and they would have had a Stone Golem online. Now they are going to have the potential to generate it, but it is going to have to come from the big ball of treats. Which is going to be good for us, not so good for opponents. Once they get online, they're going to get 150 block. They have so much spikes, it's kind of insane. But can we actually keep up? Because they do have healing reduction as well. Which is going to be pretty darn rough for us too. And it's actually looking super close. They're dealing quite a bit of damage to us. They got their block. And unfortunately, it just ends up falling short. Daggers are pretty rough into spikes. They had 51 in DPS from their spikes alone. Which is nuts. Because they did have an wilds. And they had an insane amount of spike stacking. But they also reduced their healing with the Decapit Discomforts. And they also had the Cap Resilience as well to negate a lot of their damage. Especially with Stoned as well. Which has been buffed and now they take 20% less damage. Which is even crazier. Now as for heals, we still had a 55 heal per second. Which is pretty good, especially with the healing reduction from the Cap Discomforts. And then top of it, as for block, yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of block altogether. But overall, this build was actually crazy fun. We did end up losing at the end, but I still think it's going to be pretty darn awesome. But anyway, we did survive 2 lives left. Let's go and see just how much rank points we managed to get. +9, ranking us up a small bit. But anyways, I'm going to leave you here for now. Just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to keep looking for the next one. I'll see you next time. Okay, we're back in history and we're going to see can we deal with crossblades with 100% crits and a big powerful doggo here. If you get invulnerability, we start stacking up our power. Our daggers start going to go crazy. But so is their crossblades. And their dogs with a lot of block. Wait, that's some massive damage, and they're answer back with a lot of massive damage too, but amazing. Genuinely amazing. But can we deal with a chain up katana type build with Amethyst of Darkness and good old Tim? They're going to be trying to steal our buffs like crazy. Again, more healing reduction. They also got Smelly Wall for a ton of block. And they do have wing boots too. Enchanted weapons is going to be crazy as well. Moving a lot of scaling damage. But as long as we keep our power, we should be in a pretty good spot here. And you know what? Not too bad. And finally, can we take on a cursed Ruby Chunk Dark Saber Serpent Staff type build? This could be kind of insane because the Ruby Chunks are going to be stunning us with their dagger activated on us then, inflicting those debuffs. But again, we resist an insane amount of debuffs, which is awesome and amazing.